Chicago Bears training camp day 3 full report. What's up, guys? Day 3 of practice is officially in the books. Training camp is in full swing, and today I want to break down everything about our third practice. Let's go ahead and get right into it. First off, Gerald Everett is back. After coming off the NLI yesterday, he was eased back into practice today, and he should be ramping up. Great to see for our new tight end. Mercedes Lewis was also back. He is a guy I don't even think needs to practice, honestly, but I am glad to see he's healthy. Noah Sewell and Simba Webster were the two Bears out of practice today. Both are considered day-to-day according to Matt Eberflus. Rome Odunze was also back in a big way. After being limited yesterday, he was a star today. And him and Caleb Williams were building their chemistry on the fly. Another thing I'll talk about more in a minute is how Montez Sweat has looked unblockable, but the overall vibes and pace of the offense has been awesome. The back and forth between the offense and defense is a testament to how quickly Caleb Williams is adjusting to the NFL. We've watched even the veteran quarterbacks we've had over the past 20 years struggle against our defenses in training camp for as long as I can remember. Having an offense that is capable of getting the best of the defense and can put up big plays all day long is something we're all going to have to witness for ourselves. But the buzz around the Chicago Bears offense, the team as a whole, and this year's training camp is off the charts. But now I wanted to talk about something that's being overlooked: the trenches. Ken's favorite. I talk about it every year, but people have to remember that the pads are not on yet. The first practice isn't until July 27th, this coming Saturday. Until then, anything happening in the trenches is pretty irrelevant. Yes, Montez Sweat has been in the backfield on nearly every snap, but no, that doesn't mean anything. That's a guy who can barely be blocked when we have full contact and are in pads. But when contact is limited and there are no pads, there's no way to stop that guy. Same with Gervon Dexter, honestly. But we really cannot evaluate anything in the trenches until the pads come on. That's for the offensive line and the defensive line, but we can update the rotations, and I have an update in the trenches on both sides. First, for the defensive line, DeMarcus Walker continues getting most of the reps opposite of Montez Sweat. However, there was an interesting development. On some third downs, D-Walk slides inside the defensive tackle, and Jacob Martin will enter as the defensive end opposite of Montez Sweat. Jacob Martin is a guy that was signed back in March, and that deal has mostly been overlooked. He's a guy with 18 and a half career sacks and is kind of like a value in Ngakoue. But he is a guy who has some upside as a third down situational pass rusher. He can help this team out as a rotational guy, and he could have a bigger role than most of us expected. Speaking of defensive ends, there's still no signings of Yannick Ngakoue or Emmanuel Ogbah. But another update from the trenches, the offensive side of the ball. Larry Borum continues getting the reps at left tackle, but Braxton Jones did do a lot more work today, and he seems close to fully returning to practice. Good news for Braxton Jones. Also, the battle at the center position continues. Tevin Jenkins commented today that Ryan Bates has been the vocal leader for the offensive line in the locker room. Is that a big deal or not? I really thought Coleman Shelton's experience would matter here, and it's important to remember that Lucas Patrick was our vocal leader last year on the O-line, and that didn't really make him play any better on Sundays. To me, when looking at the center position, Coleman Shelton and Ryan Bates are our two most experienced offensive linemen, both battling for that center job. Both have 5 years of experience in the NFL, and both have played in exactly 73 NFL games. The biggest difference is starts and playing time at center. Ryan Bates has only started 2 games at center in his entire career and only has 19 career starts. Meanwhile, Coleman Shelton has 32 career starts, all coming at the center position, and he started 30 games in the last 2 years in Sean McVay's offense. He seems like the guy destined to win the starting job, if you ask me, especially when you consider that he was working with Thomas Brown, our passing game coordinator, in the Sean McVay system for the last 5 years. I still give the edge to Coleman Shelton here, but Ryan Bates stepping up as a vocal leader is still a good thing. especially since Nate Davis has been mostly absent as a leader since he signed last year. I am a fan of Ryan Bates. I just think Coleman Shelton has a better shot at winning the center job, but clearly there is a competition there. So far, they are rotating back and forth every day. I expect that to continue for at least another week or two until someone gets a chance to stand out once pads come on and the preseason kicks off. But you kind of want Caleb Williams to have a little bit of familiarity with both guys in case someone gets hurt. But Matt Eberflus and Semo will continue looking for the best five on the O-line, and Ryan Bates is doing his best to earn one of those five spots. So far, Nate Davis has been at every practice, and he's taken all the reps at right guard. If he were to miss practice, I would expect Ryan Bates to slide into his spot and Coleman Shelton to get the first team reps at center. As long as Nate Davis is practicing, though, Shelton and Bates should remain rotating as center, at least for the time being. Okay, and now what everybody wants to hear, let's talk about Caleb Williams' progress report. Caleb's command of the offense has been impressive. He looks comfortable and even won the 2-minute drill today against the tough defense. The first team defense did win the majority of the day, but the offense rallied in the 2-minute drill. Caleb missed DeAndre Swift in the flat, but then he completed a slant to DJ Moore and followed that up with big passes to Rome Odunze and Keenan Allen. And that would set up a Cairo Santos field goal to end the 2-minute drill. Caleb and Rome Odunze displayed their chemistry today with 2 long completions that could have went for touchdowns. Watching these two build chemistry and grow together is one of the most exciting things, not only for this year's training camp, but for the future of this entire franchise. It's great to see Rome Odunze showing off his skill set. He is being overlooked because we have so many weapons on this offense, which is actually perfectly fine to me. Just don't forget about Rome Odunze. And now let's talk about the biggest thing that the media and the fans are already noticing about Caleb Williams. His lightning quick release is just next level. It's easily the biggest difference between him and Justin Fields, and everybody who attends training camp this year is going to see the difference. You will be wowed at times at Caleb's ability to get rid of the ball in the blink of an eye. His ability to contort his arm and make those quick passes to the sideline and for screen passes, while also being able to throw off platform, is going to delight every single Bears fan. So far, throughout 3 days of practice, Caleb Williams has been everything he was advertised to be. There's no reason to go overboard yet, but if you're not hyped up about Caleb Williams, maybe it is time to get on board. But if you want to wait and see it with your own eyes, that's perfectly fine as well. That's coming soon. But to recap more of practice, the running game was a big part of Shane Waldron's offense today. We are still going to run the ball. A huge benefactor of that today was Khalil Herbert, who broke off 2 big-time TD runs, and he's looked great early in camp. For those on the trade Khalil Herbert bandwagon, he continues to showcase his value. I think he's a guy that could get a lot of playing time in the preseason, especially if the Bears want to showcase him for a potential trade. I've said all along, though, I love Khalil Herbert's game. I wish he was just a better pass blocker. But even if he doesn't factor majorly into the plans for the offense in 2024, he still can provide a ton of value for this team if something were to happen to DeAndre Swift or Roschon Johnson. I think Khalil is one of the better backups in the game, and he's capable of taking pretty much any run to the house. He's a big play waiting to happen, and he could really thrive in this offense, especially as a change of pace guy. Don't write off Khalil Herbert yet. But for the most part, the second team defense dominated the offense. Tyson Bagent struggled today. Greg Stroman had an interception, and he had multiple passes broken up, as well as defenders all around him. Basically, the defense just won the day for the second team. No reason to panic there. Still a big fan of Tyson Bagent, but not being able to block the pass rushers is making things harder for this offense. Zach Pickens has also looked great early on, another guy to keep an eye on. The back and forth between the offense and defense has been well documented. My guy Pat Designer was talking about how the offense was actually talking smack to the defense today, and that after Caleb Williams went ahead and set the team up for a field goal, the defense playfully booed him. I love that our offense is capable of punching back. I cannot wait to see these guys in action. We are 10 days away from the Hall of Fame game. Devin Hester's enshrinement and Caleb Williams' NFL debut. That's all for day 3 of training camp practice. Stay tuned, guys. I have a ton more coverage on the way, and more Bears news is going to be coming out every single day. Remember to hit that like button for me. Stay tuned, and until next time, bear down.